Most people think Pilates instructors just teach classes all day. While that can work, it's also how a lot of instructors burn out. As a Pilates instructor, there are actually multiple directions you can take your career, and I really want to break this into 3 main paths so you can figure out which direction suits you the best. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Isabel, and I'm a Pilates instructor, physical therapist turned Pilates instructor. And today I'm bringing to you a few unique paths that you can take to kind of spice up your Pilates career. I know some of you that follow me are interested in teaching Pilates or are already in the process of becoming Pilates instructors. Maybe you are a Pilates instructor, and I hope this video is helpful for you. So the first path that I want to take you down is the clinical specialized path. Now the anchors of this path: depth, expertise, and higher value work. So let me break this down a little bit more for you. This is a path that blends Pilates and healthcare or rehab settings. So you wouldn't just be leading regular Pilates classes or workouts, you're helping people with specific issues. So to expand a little bit on that, that could be injuries, chronic pain, or even sometimes post-op clients, pelvic health, prenatal and postnatal athletes, or even older adults. I do see a lot of Pilates instructors specialize in athletes, at least that's what I see mostly on social media. And in these settings, you're most often working alongside PTs or just in a more clinical environment. This is the direction that I personally leaned into naturally, since being a physical therapist first and then getting my Pilates certification. It was a lot easier and more natural for me to just transition into that setting. So the studio that I currently work at takes a lot of clients on a referral basis directly from physical therapy. So I will actually get physical therapy notes and recommendations as if I was like a step down kind of thing from a physical therapist, which is actually really nice. It's sort of like a continuation of care. A lot of people get out of physical therapy and then they kind of just stop doing their exercises. There isn't really a continuation of care after physical therapy a lot of the time. And so our Pilates studio fills that gap for them. And this specific setting for me at least feels very sustainable because I do work with a lot of private clients. And so I feel like I'm using my brain just as much as I would in a physical therapy setting. And I don't have to use so much of my body, which I would need to if I was teaching mat Pilates, for example. Now, the reality check with this path is that it usually would require a bit more education before getting into this space. And then, of course, ongoing learning, continuing education. Another example would be I'm currently working on getting a pelvic health certification through Herman and Wallace. If you've been following me already, you already know that I'm working on this. That course is a prerequisite to another course that I want to take afterwards, which is therapeutic exercise in the rehab setting for Pilates specific, like based exercises. I hope that makes sense. Not only does it take a lot of education, but you should know your anatomy pretty well and know a little bit more than just being able to cue the exercises. You should be able to explain the exercises and why you're doing those exercises. And of course, this can all take time to build confidence and trust in yourself and for others to build trust with you. I still feel like I'm learning every single day, and I've been through a DPT program, a Pilates certification, so on and so forth, and I'm still learning every single day. So that's just the path that I'm on. So just to cover a few resources for you, I've already mentioned one. The Herman and Wallace Pelvic Rehab Institute is a great resource to check out, or Polestar Pilates I've heard is another great one to go check out for any ongoing learning, any continuing education that you might want to do to become a bit more specialized with a specific population of people. So that's more of the depth focused path. The next path is almost the complete opposite. So the second path, which I think a lot of you might like, is the scalable online income path. Now the anchor to this path is the flexibility, location independence, and no longer trading time for money. This is where you take your knowledge as a Pilates instructor and teach more than just the people in front of you. You get to teach the masses, all the people that you can reach online, which is way more than you'd probably ever reach on a face-to-face basis. So to expand on this path a little bit more, you can utilize content creation using social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. Substack is another one if you're into writing, and newsletters. Newsletters are actually really great for more of that educational content. People like to get those little nuggets in their email, so that's another option to take. You can also take to digital products and selling courses online as well. You can have programs, you can have a tiered membership. This is sort of also what I'm trying to build online, where I'm sharing Pilates content on my socials. I'm talking about my journey as a Pilates instructor on YouTube. One day, maybe I'll start a newsletter, who knows, but it's a lot to juggle, obviously. This path is just nice because it allows you to reach more people without physically teaching all day long, which can cause burnout pretty quickly. Now, the important reality check for this path is this is not fast money. The internet may seem fast, but it takes a long time to grow and to build that reputation and that trust with your audience. It can honestly take months or years to build traction. You definitely need consistency in this area, clarity in your messaging. Like, you need to be very specific on the topics and the things that you're providing your audience. Another tool that I've heard some people use is Kajabi, and this is good if you want to eventually host programs and things like that. I personally have never used Kajabi, but I have heard some instructors use it as like their home for their programs. And again, this path usually starts alongside teaching, not instead of teaching. So I do highly recommend, if you're in the process of becoming a teacher, I wouldn't go directly into this scalable online path. I would really take time to do that in-person teaching, because that's what's going to make you a better instructor and help you to connect with people one-on-one and understand teaching on another level. If you go straight to online, you might not have the same thought processes, and you might not be able to reach people as much as you think that you might. And then there's a third path that a lot of people tend to overlook, and this path is the lifestyle leadership path. The anchors to this path are variety, sustainability, and less physical burnout, just like the last path. This path is about staying in the industry, but not necessarily being on the schedule every single day, all day long teaching. A few examples for this path would be things like corporate wellness. So that's teaching for companies or businesses. Studio management or lead instructor roles are really popular. You could also participate in teacher trainings or even mentoring other instructors. Another big one that I see on social media is hosting retreats or like workshops. This can even be online, but I do see a lot of in-person workshops. So with this path, you may be teaching less classes overall, but you'll probably have a larger impact overall because you're reaching more people and you're stepping into more of a leadership position. You also get a lot more control over your schedule with this path, which is where that sustainability piece really comes in. It's a lot nicer to be able to adjust and switch your schedule up more frequently than having this same teaching schedule for months and months on end. The reality check with this path is that these roles usually come from experience as a teacher and also networking. You may need to build a reputation first here before you can step into a teacher training position or a lead instructor role. It's something to take into consideration. Some of these roles can shift you away from teaching, which might not be what some people want. If teaching is really important to you, then this might not be the path for you. I've heard about some platforms that I just want to plug here. One is Wellable, another one is Gym Pass, I think it is, and that's for more corporate wellness. I personally work for a company called FX Well. This is not sponsored, but they do hire Pilates instructors to do in-person and virtual Pilates mat classes for the community and for corporate wellness. Through FXWell, I actually got an opportunity to teach a mat Pilates series on the National Mall right next to the Washington Monument. So that's pretty cool if you ask me. It's a great way to get your name out there, to meet people, and to be out in the community making a difference. Some other organizations to tap into are Balanced Body or Stop Pilates if you're interested in teaching or mentoring. Now again, that's going to be once you have a decent amount of experience under your belt as a teacher. Now the biggest takeaway from all of this is that you don't have to pick just one path. They all are good in their own ways. Most instructors tend to blend these paths over time to create their own unique career. For me, currently, I'm blending the clinical path and the online path, but of course, I'm open to the leadership path as well. I chose to go down these two paths for now because I want both depth in what I teach as well as flexibility in how I work and how my schedule is set up. So if you're a Pilates instructor or soon to be Pilates instructor or thinking about becoming a Pilates instructor and you're trying to figure out your next step, or you just don't want to burn out teaching back to back to back classes forever, I'm documenting this journey in real time, so don't forget to subscribe if you'd like to follow along. If you have any other paths, any other tips for my fellow Pilates girlies here on this channel, please leave a comment below and put us on, inform us all, because that's what this community is all about. We're trying to support each other, help us get into those rooms, get into those spaces. We need more of us in this Pilates space, and we have an abundance mindset over here. There's enough to go around. There's opportunities galore in the Pilates space, so there's no reason to gatekeep. Share what you know, share your knowledge below. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, leave me a comment. I'd love to chat with you below, and I will definitely see you guys in the next video. Next week should be a vlog, so stay tuned for that.